Now, your textbook has an extensive list of secondary data resources that are described for you, and I'm not going to cover all of the sources mentioned there. But I am going to highlight a few that are most helpful to me and my colleagues when we're doing our research, because I think you may find those helpful too. Let's get started. There are secondary data sets available from a whole range of agencies and individuals, and the data sets you can find online cover a huge range of topics and populations. One of the places that you'll find this data is called the Inter-University Consortium for Political and Social Research, or ICPSR. This is a large consortium of universities that have joined together to host a wide variety of data sets for public use. As noted in the name, ICPSR data sets relate to political research questions and social research questions. Contained within ICPSR are data sets that are collected by government agencies, as well as data sets collected by individual researchers and private agencies. Another good source of secondary data are government agencies themselves. The Center for Disease Control and the Department of Commerce, publishes a lot of their data sets for public download. I've shown you some statistics from the CDC website before in lecture videos, and I can promise you that all I had to do was select a few boxes, and I was able to create whatever tables and graphs I wanted. Here's a screenshot from their website showing all of the topics that you can find data about on the CDC's website. Of particular relevance to criminal justice students is likely the injury and the violence topic, but there are a lot of biocriminological studies that use medical data along with criminal history data to determine crime outcomes. For example, here's a chart showing the 10 leading causes of death for different age groups from the CDC. The bright red boxes indicate homicide, showing that the third leading cause of death in 2018 for persons 1 through 4, 15 to 24, and 25 to 34 was homicide. Unintentional injury, shown in blue, was the leading cause of death for everyone between the ages of 1 and 44. And suicide, shown in green, was the second leading cause of death for persons between the ages of 10 and 34. Again, depending on your research topic, this type of graphic and this information could be really useful. So the CDC is a great option for secondary data. Secondary data that is particularly important for many national studies is the census data that's available from the Department of Commerce's Census Bureau. Like the CDC, you can create a multitude of tables and graphs directly within the Census Bureau's website. The Census Bureau is actually responsible for a number of nationally representative studies, not just the census. So they have more than the traditional census information. For instance, they compile data from the American Community Survey every year, and they have various other more specialized surveys like the National Crime Victimization Survey, the Economic Census, the National Longitudinal Survey, the Annual Retail Trade Survey, and the National Hospital Care Survey. This gives the census data a lot of information that you can browse through on their website. I use their profile option to look at the statistics for Smith County here in Texas. The data shows me that Smith County has a population of 225,015 people with a median household income of $53,511. 7.2% of our population in Smith County is veterans, and 92.7% of those veterans identify as male. 85.2% of Smith County residents have earned a high school diploma or higher, with the actual breakdown of educational attainment depicted here in this graph. So again, a lot of very specific, detailed information that you can find out about any area in the United States that you're interested in. For criminal justice topics specifically, the FBI, the Bureau of Justice Statistics, and the Department of Justice all host public use data sets that contain information on a variety of topics, including prison populations, criminal sentences, community corrections, police arrests, and more. The FBI oversees the Uniform Crime Report and the National Incident-Based Reporting System, both are which commonly use data sets for crime analysis. In my own research, I am constantly accessing the various statistics and publications on the Bureau of Justice Statistics website. They have specific topic areas for all three of the traditional criminal justice components: corrections, courts, and law enforcement. And they also have topic areas on specialized topics like victims, employment, the federal system by itself, and Indian country justice statistics. While the Bureau of Justice Statistics does provide some of the raw data if you want to download it, I actually prefer to use their publication database. They link all of the reports and the white papers that are issued from the various data sets that are contained within their site. So I can browse through the publications to find tables, charts, and graphs of interest to me without actually having to use the raw data. For example, on this slide is a summary document that highlights key findings from a 9-year study on recidivism of sexual offenders. This publication used 3 different data sources: the Federal Justice Statistics Program, the Recidivism Survey of Felons on Probation, and the Recidivism of State Prisoners. The BJS links me to all 3 of these databases in case I want to see the specific methodologies, download the survey instruments, or download the raw data. But for me, most times, the published report will suffice for my needs. And lastly, don't neglect the possibility of secondary data from agencies at the state and the local level. The Texas Department of Criminal Justice has a statistics website that links you with various data sets of publicly available data that you can analyze if need be. For instance, I was able to find basic demographic data, including the name, date of birth, gender, race, county, date of offense, and date incarcerated for all of the offenders on death row in Texas on that website. That type of information could be useful if you're interested in analyzing racial trends, for example, in death penalty cases. The Texas Department of Public Safety also has data available for download and analysis. The DPS website hosts the Texas Crime Report from 1999 to the most recent report, which was released in 2018. The crime report breaks down the UCR statistics by each county across the state, and it can be a useful place for crime analysis at a more localized level. Here are some of the tables that are provided in the 2018 crime report summary. Those of you who have taken my criminology course have actually used this crime report as a secondary data source in order to create a crime rate map of Texas. So again, there's a lot more data out there than you realize. That concludes our discussion about the sources of secondary data. As I mentioned before, your textbook provides you with numerous other sources. So I encourage you to revisit that list and maybe jot down some of the data sets that sound interesting to you. That could be a good place to start for future research projects.